There are 5 critical warning signs that you should never ignore. A lot of people have one of these 5 symptoms and they're normalizing them. And I'm here to tell you that you don't want to ignore these 5 signs because you can usually do something about it if you catch it in time. Far too often when you go to the doctor, they just basically treat your symptom. What's causing your high blood pressure? It could be this or that. Here, just take this medication. High cholesterol, take this medication. Arthritis, take this medication. I am more interested in finding the underlying root cause so I don't have to take medication the rest of my life. So let's start with number 1, chronic fatigue. You could be fatigued chronically from so many things. If you have anemia, that could be either low B12 or iron. I was chronically fatigued for many, many years, and I was taking tons and tons of vitamins, thinking that's going to help me. I'd be driving down the street with my wife and say, honey, let's go over there. They might be able to help me in this like health food store. And I would be asking them, maybe I need this vitamin or that vitamin. I'm here to tell you that the vitamins will not work for various symptoms unless you correct the diet. There's a basic diet that I recommend that will handle a lot of problems to the point where you might not need any vitamins at all. It wasn't until I started having protein for breakfast that I really had this realization that, wow, that's the protein that I needed that just totally woke me up. Another cause of chronic fatigue is low vitamin B1. If you're deficient in B1, you're going to have a lot of racing of the mind, thinking about problems before you go to bed, restless leg syndrome. You're going to have a lot of nervous energy. Chronic fatigue could come from a tick bite. This microorganism in these ticks, they downgrade your vitamin D receptors, very sneaky, leaving you with the inability to use vitamin D3. If you have a liver disease, heart disease, autoimmune disease, that's involving a lot of inflammation. And then let's say, for example, you've checked all these things and nothing is working. There is a small, rare chance that it could be something more serious, possibly cancer, probably not, but you can always get an assessment to rule that out. Number 2, sudden weight loss. It could be any number of things. It could be hyperthyroidism, and that can actually speed up the thyroid and cause you to lose weight. Also, type 1 diabetes can cause weight loss. A disease with your adrenal glands where they're kind of shutting down called Addison's disease also could cause you to lose weight. Parasites can cause you to lose weight. Number 3, persistent weakness. This could be iron. You could be anemic. It could also be as simple as not having enough sodium. Low sodium will cause weakness, but you can also be weak if you're low in magnesium, vitamin E, and then potassium deficiency can also make you weak. Number 4, chronic diarrhea. Mostly diarrhea comes from food poisoning or eating something that your body disagreed with. It could also be low zinc. One of the symptoms is diarrhea. I think a common reason for a lot of diarrhea is side effects from medication. So you want to look at that as well. And a lot of people have irritable bowel syndrome and they're doing a lot of grains and the grains are just tearing up their colon and they're getting diarrhea from that. But I think a big one, especially if you travel overseas somewhere, getting a parasite, that can create diarrhea. In which case, when you get back, you need to take a probiotic, a strong one, for a long time to fix that problem. And then number 5 is persistent stomach or abdomen pain. I would start eating better and then get rid of the junk food, okay? That should handle 95% of the problem right there. If it doesn't, suspect other reasons, which could be coming from a gallstone or a kidney stone. And you won't be able to tell the difference unless they do an ultrasound or some other test. And so a kidney stone too is not always felt in the back part. It could be felt in the front as well. There's another condition called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth where the microbes are in the small intestine, not the large. The solution is to do intermittent fasting, garlic, and some betaine hydrochloride. But this is all generated from being very, very sick. With the abdomen, you could have like appendicitis. You could have a parasite. I mean, it could be cancer, rare. It could be an ulcer or gallbladder sludge, which is actually more common than you think. The bile starts to thicken in the tubes and cause backup in the pancreas and can even create inflammation in the pancreas called pancreatitis, in which case the remedy is TUDCA that will thin the bile, give you a tremendous amount of relief. Don't ignore these symptoms. I had such a low IQ on the area of nutrition and food and diet. And it's very ironic that I went to the exact opposite extreme, focusing most of my time now on studying this topic. If a doctor diagnoses you and says it's all in your head, ignore them and go to another doctor. And realize when someone gives you a prescription or even a remedy for something like this, you have to question, is this really correcting the underlying cause, or is this suppressing a symptom that will keep the problem there longer?